What is the mood over in Brussels? We must have had reactions already.
Good morning, Tessa. Well, the official reaction here in Brussels has mostly been no comment. I mean, there's behind the scenes a sense of satisfaction almost, because this proves that it is not the EU that's breaking apart because of Brexit, but rather the UK government that's falling apart. Yesterday, during a press conference, Jean-Claude Juncker, the president of the European Council, the European Commission, was asked about the resignation, and all he said was that this was a proof that there was unity in May's cabinet. So obviously, a lot of irony there from Jean-Claude Juncker. But as you said, perhaps the strongest reaction came from Donald Tusk, the president of the European Council, who had this tweet that was widely shared on social media that read, "Politicians come and go, but the problems they have created for people remain. I can only regret that the idea of Brexit has not left with Davis and Johnson, but who knows?" So clearly, Boris Johnson will not be missed here in Brussels. This is a man, after all, that's been railing against Brussels and the EU ever since he was a journalist here decades ago. And one political group here in the European Parliament suggested that the only ones that will miss Johnson, perhaps, are cartoonists. Tessa?
Brian, just very briefly, do you think that this could stall the negotiations?
We'll have to see. I mean, the reactions that I said were pretty quiet so far. Perhaps one of the strongest came from the European Socialists and Democrats, who said that these resignations were the proof that nobody can deliver on what was promised, because what was promised is literally impossible. I also exchanged some text with an official from the European Conservatives and Reformists, which is the group to which the UK Conservative Party belongs to, and he actually didn't want to comment, saying that this was a matter of UK politics. And the same was echoed by Michel Barnier's spokesperson. Michel Barnier is, of course, the chief negotiator on Brexit for the European Commission, who said no comment, will continue working towards a deal. But there are two fears here in Brussels. First is on timing. As you know, the UK is set to leave the EU in March 2019, but it still needs to be, the final deal still needs to be ratified before. They were hoping to finish by October. That deadline seems unrealistic, and even December seems unrealistic. And finally, the EU is a bit in a dilemma. On the one hand, they want to get the Brexit that they want, but on the other hand, they know that if they push too hard, they risk to alienate more members of May's cabinet and losing Theresa May, and that they do not want, because who knows what will come afterwards, and that will raise the prospect of having no deal at all, which nobody actually wants.